Back in the Motor City, it's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Detroit Lions. Marvin Lewis in his 11th year as head coach of the 4-2 Bengals. And there's Jim Schwartz, who worked with Marvin as an assistant in Baltimore. And his Lions off to the good start. Also 4 up and 2 down. Lions won the toss. They will receive, as you look at Michael Spurlock, 7-year man out of Ole Miss, averaging 20 yards a return. And this is Mike Nugent in his 4th year with Cincinnati after spending time with the Jets in Arizona, getting ready to kick it off. We are underway here in Detroit, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. So here comes Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, you can tell, Marv, by watching film. I mean, he's a very smart player, very aware of what's going on around him. He's got a great command of the offense and a very good feel for how defenses match up and trying to attack their unit.
Detroit Lions wins here at home over the Vikings and Bears, on the road at Washington, at Cleveland. The losses at Arizona. And at Green Bay, they go with Reggie Bush and Joique Bell. And it all said Bell was a question mark because of rib injuries, and he is well padded. The handoff is to Bell. Picked up 3 on the play. A look at the Lions up front once again. Corey Hilliard starting at right tackle for the injured Jason Fox. The backs and receivers, the 6'7" rookie tight end Joseph Fourier in the spotlight last week with the 3 touchdown catches. 2nd down and 7. Now Bush, the lone running back. Stafford out of the gun. And he completes. He has Pettigrew. Another huge tight end at 6'5". And that's good for a pickup of 6. A look at the Bengals. Defensively, they feature Geno Atkins, who is a wrecking ball. The linebackers, Vontaze Burfict once again leading the team in tackles. And in the secondary, Leon Hall playing well, making it back from the injured hamstring.
A good look at Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals. And he always wants to get after the quarterback early. Really set the tone with his rush and coverage units.
It's a 3rd down and 1 for Stafford. And Bush turns the corner and has a 1st down. Stopped by Reggie Nelson. Reggie Bush last week, 17 carries, 78 yards, also caught 5 passes.
And we always talk about setting the edge, not allowing Reggie Bush a 2-way go and not allowing him to bounce runs outside. That's really what he wants to do. That's where he's most comfortable. They'll start him up inside. So if you're a defensive end, a guy like Michael Johnson on the backside, you've got to be patient and you've got to be disciplined with your eyes.
And they go with the 2 backs with Bush now in the slot. They move him around throughout the game. The deep back is Bell.
Reverse!
And around as Bush took it from the slot. Now makes a nice cut. Broke a tackle and gets to the 35-yard line. Picked up 4.
Well, you always have to be prepared to defend the cutback anytime you face a back like Reggie Bush. He loves to wind runs back to the backside. And I don't think you realize just how strong he is. Although he's only a little over 205 pounds, his lower body strength is incredible. He's running the ball much better between the tackles.
And now Reggie Bush to the sideline. So the running back is Bell. 2nd down and 6 for Detroit. We're just underway. And Stafford try to unload, try to swing it out, but it is incomplete, intended for Broyles.
Well, they can't afford not to have Reggie Bush out there. If you're the Bengals defense, you always have to be aware of where he lines up. And the offensive coordinator for the Lions, Scott Linehan, does a good job moving him around. You'll see him in the backfield. You'll see him offset. You'll see him in the slot. You'll see him out wide. And they're still finding ways to get him the ball in space. That's where he's obviously most dangerous.
In the 3rd and 6, Bell remains in the backfield. Kevin Ogletree is split wide to the left, top of your screen. Stafford's pass is caught caught by Pettigrew, but stopped in his tracks. Penalty marker is down. Burfict made the tackle, and we'll hear from the referee, Scott Green.
Interference, offense, number 18. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
The interference is called on the wideout, Chris Durham.
Well, they do a good job, the Bengals. They're going to show you pressure, and then they're going to wind up dropping. But still, it forces the Lions to account for them, and Stafford's trying to get the ball out quick, and you see Vontaze Burfict. He's able to rally to the flat to make that tackle. They do a good job disguising their intentions with their fronts and coverages.
So, punting unit in, Sam Martin unloads. Adam Pac-Man Jones back and way back out to catch it at his goal line and gets just shy of the 10-yard line. What a punt. John Wendling made the tackle, a 66-yard punt. Back in a moment. Off the booming 66-yard punt by Sam Martin, Andy Dalton, and the Bengals starting out at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I really felt he played his best game of the season last week, Marv. Now in the 3rd year in the offense, they're giving him more freedom and flexibility at the line of scrimmage.
Big hole opened up on the left side for Ben Jarvis, Green, Ellis, and he goes for 7. Close-up look at the Bengals. The 6'7" Pro Bowl left tackle, Andrew Whitworth. So difficult to deal with, as is A.J. Green among the NFL leaders with 37 receptions.
Yeah, he's a terrific talent. And, of course, Jay Gruden takes 3 or 4 shots every quarter, giving A.J. a chance to go up and make a play. One-on-one coverage, that's where Andy Dalton wants to go with the football.
2nd down play off the run by Green Ellis, and Dalton fires one that is broken up. Double coverage on tight end Tyler Eifert. Louis Delmas got a piece of it. Here are the Lions defensively. And Dominican Sue, who earlier this week once again went deep into his wallet, will have fallen later. The linebackers, DeAndre Levy, with 2 interceptions last week, 1 return for TD, and strong safety Glover Quinn has been an excellent pickup from the Texans by Cincinnati. 3rd down and about 2. Look out. Penalty markers down. A lot of movement as Green Ellis got the call. Looked to be Willie Young,
Offside.
left end.
Number 79 defense, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Yes, it was unabated by Willie Young.
Yeah, you're just going to see him right at the top of your screen. I mean, they jump off sides a couple times each week. I mean, if you study the tape, you have to be able to change up your cadence, with the group like this Detroit Lions defensive line. They try and really get a jump on the snap count, and really try and time the rush.
And Rich, Detroit right up there in terms of penalties called. They are 6th in the NFL. So 1st down for Cincinnati, and again movement and a flag.
False start. Offense, number 65.
This time it is on the Bengals, the left guard, Clint Bowling.
Well, now they fooled their own players. Sometimes you try and use hard counts in an environment like this. It's very loud, but Andy Dalton has to do that. This is a defensive line that can be very disruptive, particularly inside when you look at Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley.
1st down and 15. And Jarvis, Green Ellis is the feature back. There's the fake from Dalton. He has the room and the time. He fires deep downfield. It is caught. A.J. Green will go the distance. Touchdown Bengals. 82 yards on the hookup between Dalton and Green.
Well, Chris Houston got caught with his eyes in the backfield. He gets beat on a double move, and Andy Dalton does a nice job just giving A.J. Green a chance. A better throw here. He probably walks in easily, but still he gets it out in front. A.J. Green has to come back a little bit. Chris Houston bites on the double move by A.J. Green. He's playing very soft in his coverage.
A.J. Green with his 5th touchdown reception of the season. And here's Mike Nugent for the extra point. 90 yards in 55 seconds. So early in the first, the Bengals jump in front, 7-0. Moment ago, an 82-yard touchdown reception by the two-time Pro Bowler, A.J. Green. That's a career long for A.J. And now Michael Spurlock is back deep for the kick. Mike Nugent with the boot. And Spurlock will stay right there. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
Let me go back and take a look at the touchdown. A couple things happen here. You're going to see the safety. He's actually going to roll down. A.J. Green's going to run the double move. But watch the corner, Chris Houston. He's going to have his eyes in the backfield. That's the first thing. And then he gets turned around at the top of the route. And now it's just too much to recover. He tries to make a shoestring tackle, but A.J. Green just too explosive, too quick, too big to bring down in the open field.
And Rich, for Andy Dalton's 9th touchdown throw of the season. He had 3 last week. Reggie Bush returning to the backfield, takes the handoff, nowhere to go. Come back, and he's hit for a loss. The tackle machine, Vontaze Burfict, who had 13 tackles last week at Buffalo, and once again leads the Bengals in that department.
I think this is an area, Marv, where they're a lot better defensively is their run defense. I mean, they're terrific up front. We know about that with Domatal Peko and Geno Atkins. Dunlap and Johnson are a handful on the edges, but the linebacking core to me, Maluga and Vontaze Burfict have really played well inside, particularly against the run.
2nd down and 12. Stafford whips it. It is complete for a first down. Able to connect with Calvin Johnson, playing with that sore right knee, although as you mentioned earlier, Rich, feeling better during the course of the week.
Yeah, I think it's great that he was out there able to practice all week, and this is good to see if you're Matthew Stafford. You're trying to get a sense for where Calvin Johnson's at physically. And you just want to watch him run routes. You want to watch him get in and out of cuts to see if he's favoring that knee at all. That looked like a really good start for Calvin Johnson.
8 of 15 last week. For the most part, he was a decoy. Did make 3 catches, had a couple of drops. But if he is back into it, lots of weapons for Stafford. Good protection, and then he fires. It is incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Joseph Fourier. They'd like to see Fourier go to work in other areas aside from the end zone.
Yeah, his ability to play in the middle of the field and to run these corner routes and use his size and his height advantage. He's 6'8". He's listed at 6'7". We talked to the Lions coaches this week, and he's actually got pretty good hands.
2nd down and 10. He's listed at 6'7", and usually guys will list themselves taller than they really are. He's down the opposite way.
Doesn't have great speed, but he catches the ball and really uses his body well in traffic.
And off to Bush. And they wing tackle him. Carlos Dunlop, 4-year man from Florida, leading the way. Just a yard advance by Reggie Bush.
And the Lions have worked so hard not to be a one-dimensional team. That's why they went out and got Reggie Bush in free agency. And they're trying to have balance. I think it's why it's really important for them to stay after the run, particularly early against the Cincinnati defense.
Reggie Bush saying in New Orleans, where he had some spectacular years, they may have thrown to him too much. Miami may have run too much. Here he says it's just the right combination. It has not been that thus far, but we're very early. 3rd down and 9.
Keep the hand up.
Stafford making changes. Look out, in trouble, but able to complete. Bush on the reception, able to make his way across the 45 for a Detroit first down. The strong safety, George Iloka, was able to wrestle Bush to the ground.
The linebackers and the safety are trying to get Bush, release it inside and matched up against Vontaze Burfict. So if you're a linebacker or a safety today for the Bengals, you really have to play well against the pass. Detroit does a nice job attacking in the middle of the field, especially with the addition of Reggie Bush.
Now Reggie back to the sideline. Joyce Bell returns to the backfield for this first down at the Detroit 46-yard line. Play fake to Bell. Stafford sidelines, a diving attempt made by Bell, but it is, did he catch it? Yes, he did. It's called a catch.
Well, I really enjoy watching Matthew Stafford. He has the ability to throw the ball from awkward body positions and to change the angle of his release to try and find a lane or a window in the rush. And he can throw off balance as well as any quarterback in football. He's got such great lower body strength. He can torque his core to really whip that ball in the tight spaces.
The question was, did Bell hold on? Did he have possession? He did. Picked up 5. Now the swing out goes to Durham. He spins his way close to the marker. And he's stopped by Devin Still. Set for an update. Let's go to JB and Bill Cowher.
Hey, Marv, this is a smile on Coach's face.
Yeah, the first minute and 7 seconds of the day, we had 3 defensive scores. Captain Munderling will take 45-yard interception, Carolina up. Then you have Miguel Roby takes his 19 yards to put Buffalo up. And Thomas DeCoux, 30-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Atlanta leads early. Defense making a statement early today.
All right, back to Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
All right, guys. Detroit did not get the good spot. It'll be 3rd and about a half yard at the Cincinnati 45-yard line. The Bengals 7 and the Lions nothing. 6.5 remaining in the first. Bell with a big hole. Jordan Bell running for the first down and more. And Loca coming up to make the stop. That's a 13-yard run for the 3-year man out of Wayne State.
Joy Bell does a nice job. Very patient. He finds a crease, and he's off and running. This is what you want to get him up on the second level. Make those safeties. Guys like George Iloka come down and make those open field tackles.
Reggie Bush checks back in. So it has been a consistent rotation with Bell and Bush. Bell, as I mentioned, playing with the bruised ribs. 9th play of this drive that started back at the 20-yard line. Detroit 1st and 10. And the handoff to Bush. Trying to squeeze his way. He gets inside the 30, but Vontaze Burfict is right there.
Well, the one thing that the Lions don't do a great job of, you mentioned, Marv, that Joseph Fourier is in there. He's not known as an inline blocker, and that's one of the areas where he has to get better. He is 6'8", but he's not the strongest guy at the point of attack. And if you're going to play tight end in this offense, you have to be able to block in the running game as well.
2nd down and 7 for the Lions at the Bengal 30-yard line. Bush now splits wide. He's at the near side, bottom of your screen, as they continue to shift him around. Empty backfield for Stafford. Stafford pumping and then fires. It is caught for the first down at the 15-yard line by the rookie tight end, Joseph Fourier. Out of UCLA, 3 touchdowns last week against the Browns in Cleveland.
Well, this is what you get when you have a tight end at 6'8". I mean, he has the ability to go up and make the difficult catch, but he's got such a big hit by the safety. This is what they wanted to see from the rookie tight end, the ability to make plays in traffic.
Bush takes the handoff. Oh, he broke a tackle. Burfict again makes the stop as Bush picks up 5. A good-looking drive here by the Lions.
And when you're Matthew Stafford, we talk about how big these targets are at tight end and wide receiver. I mean, they have this large catch radius. So if you just get the ball in their area, they're all good leapers and they all have good strong hands and the ability to go up and make the catch at its highest point. But that's what you get when you have the size at tight end and wide receiver.
They could field a pretty good basketball team when you look at the height of most of their receivers. Stafford backpedals, throws. That was really picked off. It was incomplete. Leon Hall got his hands on it, and it was intended for the tight end Brandon Pettigrew.
That was a dangerous throw by Matthew Stafford. I mean, he just throws this out in front, and Leon Hall, he sees it the whole way. Pettigrew was running a little and out and up, and the corner Leon Hall never bit.
Detroit now with a 3rd down and 6 on the 11. Jordan Bell splits wide to the left and motioned over here by Stafford for this 13th play of the drive. Detroit has had the ball for more than 7 minutes. Stafford in trouble. Runs it. It is caught by Durham. 1st and goal for the Lions. A diving catch by the 3-year man out of Georgia, the 6'6", Chris Durham, for 8 and a first down.
And he's going to work all the way across the formation. He's going to come from left to right and just post up right in the middle there. And get to these taller receivers.
Timeout is being taken here by Cincinnati with 3:15 left in the first. Back in Detroit, Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, Matthew Stafford of Detroit, 8 for 11, 63 yards, looking at a 14th play of a drive that has gone nearly 8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 receptions to 6 different receivers. And Marv, you and I were just talking off the air about just how this guy deals the ball in the pocket. I mean, he does a good job understanding the system, getting the ball out quickly, and allowing these receivers to get into the transition of the run.
First and goal at the 3. Calvin Johnson breaks to the left. He's top of the screen. Reggie Bush in the backfield.
They love the quick fade to these other receivers.
Stafford fires for Johnson. Could not hold on. Calvin Johnson, who goes 6'5", was battling against Leon Hall, who was down and shaken up. Appears to be all right.
Well, they love the quick fade in the red zone. I mean, they love to use their size and height advantage in this part of the field versus shorter corners and safeties. And just gets the one hand on it, and you see Leon Hall go down clutching that right ankle area.
Leon Hall has had a couple of injuries this year, back from a hamstring. Playing very well, as we mentioned earlier. Tough assignment. He goes 5'11", so he gives away a good 6 inches on Johnson. Jordan Bell is now the lone center back. Second and goal. At the 3. Here's Stafford throwing end zone. It was incomplete. Intended for Fourier, who thought there was interference. No call.
Well, again, they try and throw the quick fade the other way to the tight end, Joseph Fourier. And this is kind of a flat throw, a tough throw for Fourier to adjust to, but I think it speaks volumes about how they feel about their ability to run the ball in this part of the field. Good red zone offenses have the ability to run it in from inside the 5.
Third down and goal. Lions have had it for nearly 8 minutes. Stafford with the look. He fired. Touchdown. Brandon Pettigrew on the reception. His first touchdown of the season.
Well, the Lions like to get everyone out in the route. You see the tight end Pettigrew. He's matched up on the safety. Just runs a little stick route. Really nice throw here by Matthew Stafford.
So here is David Akers seeking to tie things up. And he does. 16 plays, 80 yards in just under 8 minutes, concluding with a touchdown pass to Brandon Pettigrew. Back in Detroit, Sam Martin, rookie from Appalachian State, with the kick to Brandon Tate. And Tate takes at the back of the end zone. So the Bengals finally get it back after that nearly 8-minute drive by the Lions. We'll go to the offense when we come back. Rich, how about these numbers?
Yeah, Cincinnati struck first, Marv, with that 82-yard touchdown from A.J. Green, but that was an impressive drive. 16 plays, 80 yards, 4 for 4 on third down.
Finally, Cincinnati gets the ball back. This is Giovanni Bernard, who tried to make the turn and could not. He is cut off. 2014 Pro Bowl balloting is open and unconferenced for the first time ever. You can vote for the best players regardless of conference, and then Pro Football Hall of Famers Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders will draft unconference teams as alumni captains. Vote now for your favorite players at NFL.com/Pro Bowl ballot. Second and 10. Yep. For Cincinnati. They're going with Bernard in the backfield, coming off an excellent game last week against Buffalo. And the pass is dropped. Marvin Jones not able to handle it, standing in front of the right corner, Rasheem Mathis.
Well, you have to be able to defend the back shoulder throw. Andy Dalton loves to throw this one to his receivers. Really nice job by Rasheem Mathis being disciplined, not only getting his head around, but getting that left hand in there.
And now the Bengals, who are deep in their own territory, are hearing the crowd, very loud crowd, here at Ford Field in Detroit.
This is where the Lions are really good on third down. Opponents are converting just 28% of their opportunities in this situation.
Some movement. Penalty marker is down. Dalton is taken down. Lost the ball. It's picked up and run in by Sue, but there was a penalty marker down. A barrage facing Andy Dalton. The fumble was forced by Ziggy Ansah. So the officials huddle up, and here's Scott Green.
Offside. Defense. Number 94. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So it is on Ansah of Detroit.
Well, you're going to see Ziggy Ansah. He just jumps inside, and again, in my film study, Marv, I've seen this 3 or 4 times each week. I mean, they're so geeked up to try and go get the quarterback and get sacks that they sometimes don't even watch the football.
Middle. It is a third down and 5. Bernard remains in the backfield to the left of Dalton. Dalton again goes sideline, get covered. Pass intended again for Jones, and it's Rasheem Mathis all over him.
Rasheem Mathis is really doing a nice job. First, disrupting the timing and the release of the route, getting his hands on the receivers, and not allowing him to throw the ball on these back shoulder throws, which Dalton loves to do.
Quickie series for the Bengals. Kevin Huber on to punt from his 12-yard line. This is Michael Spurlock taking it out of bounds. So Detroit will get it back. 49-yard punt by Huber. You can start your Monday night with a great hour of comedy, How I Met Your Mother, now followed by Two Broke Girls. All new tomorrow beginning at 8/7 Central, only CBS. A report from the Bengals sideline, Leon Hall suffering an Achilles. And he is out the rest of the way. We talked earlier about the fact that he's been injury hit, but has been playing well. He keeps coming back, but that's a big loss for the Bengals secondary.
That's devastating because he's their best corner, Marvin. They also like to move him inside in their sub package.
Lions take over at the 26-yard line. Here's Stanford throwing sideline. A leaping catch is made on a beauty by Calvin Johnson, using his height to take advantage.
Well, this is special. I mean, this is actually pretty good coverage. But look at Calvin Johnson. First, use his hands to push off and create some separation, and then to be able to squeeze that ball against his chest.
Made the move against Terrence Newman, the left corner. It's good for 19. And here is, well, apparently a whistle for that. That's for a challenge. Coach's challenge. Marvin Lewis.
Cincinnati is challenging the ruling on the field.
I would think what he's challenging is whether Calvin Johnson, right here, had possession as he hit the sideline.
And back here in Detroit, I think that's going to turn out to be a very good challenge by Marvin Lewis. You see Calvin Johnson, he's got the hand on it, but then his right foot actually touches out of bounds before he gains possession.
Down, inbounds with possession of the ball. The pass is incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes and 7 seconds.
Well, he doesn't quite have possession. You're going to see the ball bounce around a little bit as he tries to bring it in towards his chest. Now, you look at the right foot. Now, before the left foot's able to come down, that right foot actually steps out of bounds. It was a really good decision there by the Cincinnati staff. See, he's still, the ball is still moving, and he's not able to secure it and get both feet down and play.
So the end result, Detroit, 2nd and 10 back at their 26-yard line. Reggie Bush back on the field, but he's flanked out. Stafford throws the middle, which is good, and has a first down. Terrence Newman with the tackle. That's good for 14. Chris Durham last week with Calvin Johnson hobbled. He was Stafford's primary target with 8 receptions, 83 yards.
Now you see Stafford, he starts to his left, it's not there. He's able to work all the way back across the field and find Chris Durham.
First down at the Detroit 40.
Hey, 40!
Bush returns to the backfield. Stafford again making changes. And is walking toward the sideline and takes a timeout. Second timeout for the Lions. Tied at 7 here in Detroit. Rich, what did Matthew Stafford like when he was looking at the lineup?
Well, I think they had a little issue with personnel, and I don't think he liked how Cincinnati was spread out in terms of their formation and the matchup that they had.
So it's a 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. A little stutter step move here by Bush for a short pickup. An advance of 3. Reggie Bush averaging just under 5 yards per carry. 3 touchdowns, 2 as a receiver. Also has 20 receptions.
Yeah, I think his role is continuing to evolve each week as the offensive coordinator and quarterback get more and more comfortable with what he does well. And anytime you add a new weapon, I think it takes a while to figure out what he likes to do and how he does it in terms of his style of play.
And Devin Still, number 75 for the Bengals, back up defensive tackle over to the sideline, was helped off. Second round pick last year out of Penn. Second down and 7 for the Lions. Stafford able to complete to Johnson. Calvin Johnson has the first down and very much into the offense here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing you know about Cincinnati, they're not going to give you a lot of free access throws. You see Terrence Newman there. He steps up in the line of scrimmage there. He tries to press Calvin Johnson, and that's what they have to do. They have to get their hands on these taller receivers at the line of scrimmage. You can't give them free releases off the line of scrimmage.
First down at the Cincinnati 49-yard line as this first quarter runs down. Coming up on 10 seconds to play in the quarter. Bush in the backfield. Reggie takes the handoff and again is stacked up. Nowhere to go. They've done a nice job on Bush. It's perfect with another tackle. Bush with a 2-yard gain. That's the end of the first here in Detroit. The Bengals and the Lions are tied at 7. Back in the Motor City. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Bengals fans in the Lions' den, you might say.
Yeah,
then again, maybe you would not say that.
Yeah, they're sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
They've got their faces
Sprinkled.
painted. And
second quarter is underway. Lions and Bengals tied at 7. Reggie Bush in the backfield. Here's Stafford looking and fires. Able to complete. He has Johnson. Calvin Johnson inside the 35. That's a 16-yard advance. Malaluga and Burfict combined to bring him down.
this is a really nice job. You just watch Matthew Stafford. He's going to take a peek out to his right to try and pull the linebacker, the underneath coverage, away from Calvin Johnson. An old wily, cagey move by Matthew Stafford. See him stare to his right just enough to freeze the linebacker and allow him to get the ball behind to Calvin Johnson.
Johnson now to the right at the top of your screen. First and 10 at the Cincinnati 32. Stafford with time, and he's firing deep. It is tipped away, broken up. Calvin Johnson lost his helmet in the process as that ball was batted. The crowd looking for an interference call on Reggie Nelson, the free safety.
Well, that was a big-time hit. You know, Calvin Johnson's just going to work towards the post right down the middle of the field, and he never feels the backside safety. George Iloka just light him up. I mean, he hits him right in the chest.
Double coverage, first Nelson and then Iloka. And here the crowd felt there should have been a call. Instead, second down and 10 for the Lions. Bush trying to pick his way, and he does. Nice run by Bush. Did not have too much room. He goes for 6, stopped by Brandon Thompson. Rich, did you mention as you saw Devin Still go to the sideline that he was out of Penn? Oh, no, that was me. It's Penn State. I'm sorry.
Penn State.
I thought it was one of us.
Yeah,
I was confused.
He's a Nittany Lion,
yes,
not a Quaker.
Right. Leon Hall out with an Achilles, and Devin Still is out. Elbow injury.
26, Leon.
Third down and 4. Stafford swings it out to Bush. Breaks a tackle. Has a first down across the 20.
Well, this is a tall assignment for a linebacker like Vontaze Burfict. One-on-one in the open field with Reggie Bush. Pretty good tackle. You have to be able to close the gap between yourself and the receiver when it's a back like Reggie Bush.
First down at the Cincinnati 20-yard line. 10th play of this drive for Detroit, which started on their own 26-yard line. Stafford getting the protection, fires end zone. Incomplete, intended for Durham. Covered by Newman.
Well, they love to throw these dart post routes and take shots at the end zone, and this is just a little bit behind the receiver. We always talk about giving the receiver, particularly a guy that's 6'6" and Chris Durham, a chance to make a play on the ball.
Chris Durham, originally a 4th-round pick of the Seahawks, had made his way from the Lions practice squad to a starting role and a key member of the Detroit wideout core. It'll be 2nd and 10. And the handoff again to Bush. Cincinnati thought they had him. Was able to break a tackle and pick up short yardage. Iloka with the stop as Bush goes for 3.
Well, penetration absolutely kills you in the running game. You're just going to see Ray Maluga. He's just going to fly through there untouched. And he's the first one that gets the shot on Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush has not had a lot of lanes or openings in the running game. Cincinnati front 7 has done a good job controlling the line of scrimmage.
Now Joik Bell returns to the backfield for this 3rd down. 7. Lions and Bengals tied at 7. We're early in the 2nd. Stafford able to stand in. He throws. It is broken up again. A post pattern pass intended for the tight end Fourier, covered by Chris Crocker.
Well, the one thing I'll say about Matthew Stafford, Marv, is he's not shy. I mean, he's willing to take a chance and to try and fit a ball into some tight windows. A little unusual there. You see Michael Johnson. He's actually going to drop from his defensive end position, knowing that he's got some help over the top from the safety.
So the field goal unit comes on. David Akers will attempt from 36, 10 of 12 for the season. And the kick gets inside that left upright to give Detroit a 10-7 lead. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores, highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Lions have a 10-7 lead. Brandon Tate fields it again in the end zone. Taking the knee, they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Early 2nd. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Request when and where your packages are delivered with FedEx Delivery Manager. Chrysler, imported from Detroit. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Well, to this point, the Lions have owned the football.
Yeah, they really have. This would be a good time for Andy Dalton and this Bengals offense to put together a long drive. They've only been on the field for a minute 47 so far.
Bengals start out at the 20. Nice catch made for the first down. Dalton able to snap it to Green. It's a 13-yard pickup. So the Bengals with the first down, and take a look at this. That's only their 7th play. Detroit with 34 plays, 149 yards. They've had it for 16 and a half minutes.
Yeah, they're just dominating time of possession. I mean, they've been really good on third down. And Andy Dalton and the Bengals have struggled on the early down, and they've 0 for 1 on third down.
Bengals from their 33. Green Ellis in the backfield. Dalton standing in the pocket. Oh, nice catch is made by Green. Another first down with additional yardage. Ashley Palmer on the coverage, but Green goes for 27.
And this is the matchup they want. You just see the linebacker, Palmer. This is just no way he can run down the middle of the field covering A.J. Green. You just see A.J. Green a lot like Calvin Johnson. He's got the ability to go up and catch the ball at its highest point.
A.J. at 6'4". He and Calvin Johnson, very close friends, work out together during the course of the off-season. That's his third catch for 122 yards. Green Ellis usually looking for the short yards, more of a straight-ahead runner, looking to try to take it to his left. Fantasy football fans, check out CBSSports.com. Player Challenge, a new 4-week game with a cash prize in every league. See rules and sign up at CBSSports.com/challenge.
Good look at Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator. And he knows what the issues are. He's got a defense of his has been on the field way too much. His group has to do a better job so that defense can catch the breath.
Second down and 11. The toss to Green Ellis. Thought he had running room, and then it's closed up. Able to work his way inside the 40 as we go to our New York studios. JB and Bill Cowher.
Defensive headlines in the first half.
The 5th defensive touchdown of the afternoon comes from Brian Arapko from Washington Redskins. This comes 17 seconds after Roy Halou ties it up. He goes 29 yards and Washington leads 17-10.
Marv Albert.
All right, JB, third down and 9. You can hear the crowd getting into it. 6 minutes gone by in the second quarter. The Lions have a 10-7 lead on the Bengals. Dalton able to complete, has a first down. Mohamed Sanu with his first catch of the day.
A little bit of an unorthodox pass rush by the Lions. You see a bunch of them standing up, a 4-man rush, and Andy Dalton just sits in there and makes a real nice throw to Mohamed Sanu. The Lions have that luxury because of the personnel that they have up front. Do a good job getting a pass rush, particularly with the 2 inside guys, Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh.
And at 12, the ball at the Detroit 27. Giovanni Bernard returns, takes the handoff. Worked his way to the 20. He refuses to go down. Giovanni Bernard is 5'9", listed at 5'9". 208 pounds, rookie out of North Carolina, second-round draft pick. Penalty marker is tossed. Little pushing and shoving off that run by Bernard.
Unsportsmanlike conduct after the play, number 84 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
On the tight end, Jermaine Gresham of Cincinnati.
Well, you got to do a better job. I mean, Jermaine Gresham's a veteran. There's the official. And you just can't do that. You can't touch the official. You have a good drive. You're getting towards the red zone and you make a mistake like that. Now you back your team up into a real long yardage situation.
Well, actually, the guy with Gresham and Willie Young of the Lions. And then, as you mentioned, there was contact with the official. So the ball is spotted at the Detroit 35, second down for the Bengals. Cincinnati at 4-2, home wins over Pittsburgh, Green Bay, New England, plus last week's victory at Buffalo, losses at Chicago and at Cleveland. Dalton, a short pass, wanted to get the ball into the hands of Bernard, but he is stopped inside the 30 by DeAndre Levy.
This is a really nice effort by DeAndre Levy. Dalton's just going to kick this one out into the flat to Giovanni Bernard. Just a really nice tackle, just staying after it and getting the back down on the boundary.
And Rich Levy has really played well. He's Detroit's leading tackler, 4 interceptions on the season, 2 last week in Cleveland, including a 66-yard return for a touchdown. 3rd and 12. Dalton cannot find anyone and throws it away. Pressure by Ndamukong Suh, forcing Dalton out of the pocket, and he fired to the sideline.
I just want you to keep an eye on Mohamed Sanu as he works down the field. You know, it's so easy for us to sit up here in the booth and say, hey, why doesn't he throw it to him? He's wide open. Go ahead and freeze it right here. I mean, look at how wide open he is. But the problem is Andy Dalton's running for his life out here, and he can't not only make that throw, but he can't see Mohamed Sanu in the back of the end zone.
So Mike Nugent comes on to attempt a long-range shot from 47. It is no good. Nugent had hit 8 of his previous 10. One of the misses from 52 and not able to hit from 47. 7:17 to go, first half. Marvin Lewis and his Bengals trailing the Lions 10-7 following that 47-yard field goal miss by Mike Nugent. Detroit taking over at its 37-yard line. Reggie Bush in the backfield. Play action. Stafford with a long bomb. And it is overthrown. Intended for Calvin Johnson.
Well, that's one that Matthew Stafford would love to have back. Play action has actually been pretty good for the Detroit Lions. You see a little double move here. Adam Jones is just trying to catch up. And you see the safety laid over the top. A better throw there by Matthew Stafford probably gets it done. Boy, that was close.
Pac-Man Jones in there with the injury sustained by Leon Hall. So Jones at the right corner spot, and Johnson with a beautiful move. This is Bush. Once again, he's able to break a tackle. And James Harrison brought him down. It's a 6-yard pickup. Now, just a moment ago, Jermaine Gresham, who was hit with that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and made contact with one of the officials right there, left the field, made his way to the locker room. We're trying to find out what the reason is.
It may have been a coach's decision. We haven't heard anything from the league whether or not he was ejected for actually making contact with an official, but regardless, just a lack of discipline by a veteran tight end.
3rd down and 4. There's a sideline pass complete for a first down. Ogletree over the middle for 7, and Detroit has another first down.
And talking to Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator of the Lions, one of the things he said that Matthew Stafford has really done a good job of is really helping the young players, the new players, guys that have just joined the team. Jeremy Ross just promoted from the practice squad. Kevin Ogletree, Chris Durham, who's taken the place of Nate Burleson. Done a good job helping these players out in the huddle with tips and reminders.
Jeremy Ross, who started the season with the Green Bay Packers, on the field now, flanked to the left side, but it's back to the ground for Bush. Picked up 3. Carlos Dunlap made the stop. We're told that Gresham was not ejected by the officials, and we have seen situations in all sports where players have been told to leave because the coach is upset. Mike Singletary is one example.
Vernon Davis,
yes,
sent him back into the locker room early
because that was just a poor decision. Obviously, an emotional move by Gresham that took the Bengals out of position in the course of that last drop. Here's Stafford throwing deep downs. It is intended for Durham, incomplete, again slightly off.
Well, Matthew Stafford has missed some throws here in the first half. He's got press man-to-man coverage, and he's trying to work in the slot. Does a good job holding the safety. But then he just puts a little too much air on this. When you have him that open, you've got to give a big receiver like that a chance to go up and make a play.
Well, we speculated on Jermaine Gresham, but here he is coming back onto the field. So he obviously was not told to leave. Third down and 7. Stafford on the screen. Bell with running room. Beautiful play with Stafford finding Bell. Reggie Nelson made the stop. 18-yard play.
Well, they do a nice job with the screen. Joyke Bell's going to work all the way back, across from left to right. You see the offensive line get out in front. He actually beats them down the field. But whether it's Reggie Bush or Joyke Bell, this is a good screen team. Stafford does a nice job drawing the rush and allowing that big offensive line to get out in front of the ball carrier.
And the free safety, Reggie Nelson, who has been hurt earlier this season, is down. They're checking him out. We'll be right back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Quicken Loans, for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And by Fruit of the Loom. Start happy.
Well, Reggie Nelson on the sideline, they're checking him out, and the second-year man out of Alabama, Drake Kirkpatrick, has just come on. Reggie Nelson, another key member of the secondary, who's been hurt along with Leon Hall. Stafford able to swing it. Here's Durham, tackled at the 20 short of a first down, hit by Kirkpatrick.
And they go right at Kirkpatrick, who just comes in, and look how far off he is. Durham's just going to run a little 2-yard hitch route. Look at that separation between defender and wide receiver.
9-yard gain, making for a 2nd and 1. And Detroit left tackle Riley Reef also injured a hamstring. He's replaced by LeAdrian Waddle, a rookie out of Texas Tech.
That's always a concern for any quarterback when you lose your left tackle.
Bush looking for the first down. And he picks it up. Gets the spot.
Riley Reef, Marv, has actually played really well on the left side. He made the transition, played right tackle as a rookie last year. He goes out, now Waddle's in, and this is a pretty good Bengal defensive line. It's a unit that had 51 sacks a year ago, 42 of them coming from the front four.
Riley Reef, first-round draft pick last season out of Iowa. First down at the Bengal 13-yard line. Again, the handoff to Bush. Picked up 2. Michael Johnson on the stop. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Lions quickly to the line. This is the 10th play of this drive. 2nd and 8 from the 16. Stafford fires end zone, and again just slightly off, intended for Ryan Broyles.
Well, what you're seeing is that Cincinnati's really trying to help over the top with their 2-deep safety look, and they're just, the Lions, look at that little side-handed throw from Stafford. He's just missing some of these seam routes, and he's missing them high. We've seen him miss the tight end. We've seen him miss the receivers inside. But the one thing I have noticed is that they love the matchups. They're continuing to take shots down in this part of the field towards the end zone.
Now Joyke Bell returns to the backfield. Stafford looking that way, and throws one. He's trying to throw it out of bounds and nearly threw it into the hands of Terrence Newman. Penalty marker is thrown.
And remember, Marv, what Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator of the Bengals, told us last night in terms of affecting the pocket.
Offense, number 18. Penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
It's called on the wide receiver, Chris Durham.
He's going to start blocking before he actually They must have had a screen or something. You see these receivers now, they get downfield early and they start blocking before the ball actually leaves the hand of the quarterback.
Field goal attempt for Akers, who hit earlier from 36, 11 of 13 on the season. Six-time Pro Bowler. Not have a good season last year. And this one is blocked. The Bengals with the block and the return trade Kirkpatrick.
He scoops it up.
Yeah, he picked it up off the block.
And great penetrations. Someone inside gets, actually that's Carlos Dunlap gets his hands on it, and then it looks like
Reggie Nelson. Yeah, I got a piece of it as it was rolling, and then Kirkpatrick taking the rest of the way. Carlos Dunlap goes 6'6", 280, pulling a J.J. Watt.
That was a big play. Big momentum swing. Now Cincinnati gets the ball. Great field position with 2:18, and this will be a good way to finish off the first half. They need some momentum. They need something good to happen offensively before they go in the locker room at halftime.
Well, they're on the move on that last drive. That's when Gresham was hit with the unsportsmanlike penalty that really cost them. So first down at the Detroit 40-yard line. And this is Giovanni Bernard. He goes for 5, stopped by Delmas. It's a 10-7 lead for the Lions over the Bengals, a matchup of teams that lead their division. Back in Detroit, 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Off that blocked field goal, Cincinnati on this drive from the 35-yard line. And Dalton able to complete. A.J. Green with the catch, and then steps out, has a first down. He was covered by Chris Houston, the left corner.
It's a really nice route. Watch him drop his hips and just transition right out of that cut. And that's tough on a cornerback like Chris Houston. I mean, you have to respect his speed, but he does a really nice job starting you downfield like he's going to run the go route and then just quickly bending it out towards the boundary.
Gain of 13, Green's 4th catch. First out at the Lions, 22. Bernard gets inside the 20-yard line, goes for 4. Giovanni Bernard. And a look at Andy Dalton and Matthew Stafford. Stafford doing most of the throwing here today because Detroit has had possession for a good portion of this first half. 2nd and 7 from the 19. Dalton runs it to the near side and is incomplete. Bernard took the hit, could not hang on. He was covered by the weak side linebacker, DeAndre Levy.
That would have been a very difficult catch for Giovanni Bernard. I mean, you're Andy Dalton. He has to step up and doesn't have the best pocket here. He's not able to get everything he wants on this throw, but probably a ball he should catch. But you look with a smaller back, you got to put it on their frame. Backs don't always do a good job catching the ball when it's away from their body.
Down to a minute and 21 remaining in the first half. Now Dalton with time, dumps it off. Bernard works his way inside the 15, close to the marker. Stephen Tulloch, the linebacker, makes the stop. Players say that Tulloch gave an emotional halftime talk following that poor second quarter last week for Detroit, then able to turn it around and come back.
Giovanni Bernard just slips right out of the backfield. And again, we talk about getting these backs matched up on linebackers in the passing game. Detroit has tried to do it a lot in the first half, and now we see Cincinnati doing the same thing. Not a lot of linebackers are going to be comfortable or any good at covering a back like Giovanni Bernard out of the backfield in the passing game.
It is a first down for Bernard and the Bengals. Giovanni, a second-round draft pick, and Rich, he was a pick the Bengals received as part of that Carson Palmer trade back in 2011.
Yeah, and he gives them big play potential that they simply don't get from Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. They're very different backs, but he's a much more explosive back out of the backfield.
So 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. And apparently there was a review from upstairs. I believe they will review the spot. Yeah, that's the reason they took the official timeout. It seemed to be clear cut where it was spotted, and they brought the yardsticks out, but the question is where the spot should be.
We'll get a good look at it, try and get a sense for where his knee is down. He actually slides, gains a full yard with the slide, but that was a good spot by the official. Look, he's right there. See, this official at the bottom of the screen is going to come in, and he's going to make the spot. Man, it looks like clearly he's in front of the first down marker. We're splitting hairs. Sometimes it's so hard to tell from the different angles.
Which I know that you enjoyed talking, as we all did, with Giovanni Bernard last night. He says he wants to be an every down back, doesn't want to be a guy that's just shifty, provides a change of pace. But there's another fella on the team by the name of Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, who has proved in the past that he can get those short yards.
Yeah, they're different backs, and I think that you look at Giovanni Bernard, Marv. I think he's becoming more of an emphasis each week in the offense. He's a guy that can get lost behind a big offensive line, and as we know, he does a nice job of making defenders miss.
The ruling on the field stands. First down.
So it is a first down at the Lions' 12-yard line. Detroit with a 10-7 lead, although they have had possession most of this first half.
Just their 19th play, offensive play here of the half. Good look at Carlos Dunlap, who had the big block on the field goal.
Final minute of the half. And let's see what Andy Dalton can do for the Bengals. Throws to the end zone. It is incomplete. Intended for Mohamed Sanu, covered by Rasheed Mathis.
Well, if I'm Andy Dalton, I'm going to start working away from Rasheed Mathis because he has played really well here in the first half. Does a nice job cutting off the receiver in the back of the end zone. And they throw so many of these fades, obviously in hopes of completing them, but if not, even sometimes drawing a pass interference call. But Rasheed Mathis has really been outstanding with his technique.
And the Lions happy to have Mathis back. Suffered a groin injury last week. Did not play the second half. Now Bernard is flanked to the right side. Empty backfield for Dalton. Dalton looking that way. And he throws for the end zone. Marvin Jones with the catch for the touchdown. He had both Jones and Bernard right at that back line at the near side. And it's Jones with the catch, a 12-yard pass play, and Cincinnati is back on top.
What a terrific effort by Jones in the back of the end zone. I think he has possession. He gets that foot down, the second one down. Clearly he is in bounds. That was a great throw by Andy Dalton, giving Marvin Jones a chance to make a play in the back of the end zone. Wow, that's great. That's a great individual effort by Marvin Jones.
All scoring plays are reviewed from upstairs. It was confirmed. Cincinnati on top as Nugent comes on for the extra point. And able to put it through. 7 plays, 40 yards, a minute 37. When the Bengals score, they don't kid around. The first drive was 55 seconds. This one, a minute 37.
Well, they can go the distance and they can strike fast. This is a really nice release by Marvin Jones. He's going to go to the back corner of the end zone, and Chris Houston just trying to knock the ball away, dislodge it. It was a great effort and great concentration by Marvin Jones. He knows he's going to come down. He comes right down on that left shoulder, but does a great job squeezing the ball with his right hand and his right forearm.
Well, Saturday it's the Home Depot. SEC on CBS. Justin Worley and the Tennessee Volunteers go up against A.J. McCarron and the defending champion, top-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama. It all begins with college football today. Bengals have a 14-10 lead on the Lions. And that, as you can see, their first score of the last 2 minutes of any half this season. Marvin Jones headed a little bit earlier to the locker room. Michael Spurlock is back deep for Detroit. So they'll bring it out to the 20.
Well, you look at the first half, neither team has been able to run the football. Detroit has thrown the ball quite a bit. Stafford's already thrown it almost 30 times, 29 times in the first half. And he's really trying to get the ball to Calvin Johnson and Reggie Bush out in the backfield.
We've had a couple of major turns. We saw the blocked field goal, which led to the touchdown drive, and Cincinnati had the drive going, but tight end Jermaine Gresham set the Bengals back with that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. This is Joyce Bell across the 25-yard line, and the Lions can just run things out. The clock is at 30 seconds to go. 12-yard pickup for Bell. Marvin Jones made that touchdown catch just a moment ago. His third touchdown reception of the season.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him run it again here. Yep. You can just tell by their demeanor, there wasn't a sense of urgency from this Detroit offense.
So George Bell with the carry to run it out, and you can hear the boos from this crowd. Halftime in Detroit, and the Bengals have taken a 14-10 lead on the Lions. Matthew Stafford putting up the stats because the Lions have the bulk of the possession in this first half, but they are trailing at the half. Andy Dalton 8 of 14, 172 yards. Stafford 16 for 29, 144. That'll do it for the first half. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime after this message and a word from your local station. Back in Detroit, although the Cincinnati Bengals have a 14-10 lead on the Detroit Lions, you look at the numbers in the first half, Rich. Cincinnati had the ball for less than 8 minutes, and Detroit had it for 22 minutes, yet here are the Bengals on top.
Kind of an unusual first half, just 21 offensive snaps for the Cincinnati Bengals, but they've made the most of their opportunities. The big touchdown throw to A.J. Green, of course, coming back and making another big one right there before the half, set up by the Carlos Dunlap block field goal. That, to me, was a big play in the first half.
And a good first half here at the Ford Field. Diet Pepsi encouraging fans to bid on pink gear to benefit the NFL's Crucial Catch campaign. Show you're fan enough by visiting NFL.com/auction to bid for pink. Both teams making their way back onto the field as you take a look at the first half statistics.
Yeah, really amazing. I think the Lions got to be scratching their head in the locker room at halftime. I mean, they've dominated time of possession, 22 minutes, 47 offensive plays, and yet they have just 10 points to show for it. The thing I do like is that Scott Linehan continues to give that gentleman right there, Matthew Stafford, opportunities. They've been very aggressive taking shots down the field.
Cincinnati will receive it. Sam Martin getting set to boot it. Brandon Tate, 5-year man out of North Carolina, is back deep. Taking it on the hop, and once again there is no return. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
Please welcome today's second half kickoff kid, Lucas Doherty from Lakeland.
So Andy Dalton, who last week had a big day, 26 of 40, season high 337 yards, named AFC Offensive Player of the week will go to work 1st and 10 from the 20.
Yeah, a pretty efficient first half for Andy Dalton. 8 of 14, 2 touchdowns. He's eliminated. He's able to avoid the big mistake, Marv, in the first half.
And Jarvis Green Ellis, the running back, and takes the handoff, and he is stuffed. DeAndre Levy, weak side linebacker, on the stop.
And anytime you go on the road, you love to be able to start a game like this. 82-yard touchdown throw from Dalton to A.J. Green. The Lions come right back with a touchdown throw of their own to Brandon Pettigrew. Jermaine Gresham loses his cool here in the first half. Of course, Andy Dalton, after a blocked field goal, is able to find Marvin Jones in the back of the end zone. And that's where it stands, 14-10 Cincy as we start the third quarter.
2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Here's Dalton slinging it to the right. That was nearly picked off. Instead, A.J. Green on the catch and a first down.
I always think it's important to get a guy like A.J. Green rolling early. We saw the touchdown, Marv, in the first half, and now look how soft the corner is playing. I mean, that's amazing. Darius Slay, the rookie. I mean, that's great respect for a guy like A.J. Green, but if you're Andy Dalton, you see that cushion in the coverage, you'll just keep throwing the ball out there to A.J. Green.
5 catches, 146 yards, 82 on that touchdown reception early on. This is Green Ellis. Once again, not able to get much. Middle linebacker Stephen Tulloch makes the stop.
Well, the Cincinnati offensive line is going to be busy. I really think that you talk about controlling the line of scrimmage, and this Detroit defensive line gets your attention. And they've got some good ends. Ziggy Ansah is going to figure it out. He's just a rookie, but the two guys inside, and Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley, when they're rolling, they can be very disruptive.
2nd down and 12. Green Ellis actually lost on that last play. Here's the screen. May have been tipped. Intended for Gresham.
Well, they have a lot of different screens. We saw the screens to the wide receivers and the backs in the first half. They come back and try to throw the tight end screen to Jermaine Gresham, and it gets tipped by Nick Fairley.
Yeah, Nick Fairley got a piece of it. Fairley is back from that shoulder injury a year ago. 3-year man out of Auburn. Now Cincinnati with a 3rd and 12. Dalton's pass is caught for the first down across the 45 by Marvin Jones. And Jones has been a major factor here this afternoon. That's good for 18.
Well, if you give a quarterback, Andy Dalton, some time in the pocket, watch him step up in here and just sling this thing right across the middle of the field to Marvin Jones. That's a really good throw by Andy Dalton. You see him, he uses his entire body there. You see the lower half of his body, that right leg coming right through on the follow-through.
First down at the Cincinnati 47-yard line. Short drop. And then a little flip pass for Gresham. And he has nowhere to go. Try and pull his way. Well, if you think bungee jumping into icy waters is amazing, you've got to see the Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes only. CBS.
You've done the polar bear plunge, haven't you?
Several times, yes.
Yeah, we do that up in Minnesota in January. It's kind of a ritual for us.
It's actually one of my favorite events.
Let's go, 200.
Dog does a good job, Marv, changing plays at the line of scrimmage based on that front and coverage that he sees from that Detroit defense.
Dalton looking at a 2nd and 11. Again, the short set, able to complete, and has another first down. Good second effort by Jones, breaking a tackle to pick up the first down. Bill Bentley made the stop. Rasheem Mathis thought he had him wrapped up, but did not.
Yeah, you look out formationally. They have all 3 receivers lined up to the left side, and again, it's all about trying to create matchups. And whether it's a linebacker that has to walk out on one of these receivers, or even a safety that's to come down and play around the line of scrimmage.
16-yard play and a first down. Big hold for Green Ellis. So Green Ellis goes for 6. We go to New York for an update. JB and
Marv, Tom Brady would like this one back.
Yeah, Gronkowski's going to go across the middle right here, and Antonio Allen's going to step in front, pick it off, return it 23 yards, and it was 21-10, now 21-17.
And of course, our quarterback and our tight end, they argued about that one here in the studio. Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
Thanks, JB. It's all defensive highlights now that Coach Caller's helping out JB.
Is he picking the highlights? He's in the edit room. 2nd down and 4 as Dalton fires for the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown! The rookie out of Notre Dame, Tyler Eifert, who goes 6'6", using that length to make the catch over the 6'1" Rasheem Mathis. And for Eifert, his first career touchdown.
Yeah, he'll keep that ball. And what a really nice route by Tyler Eifert. He's going to start. You see him in line. He's going to run the bench route, and then he turns it back upfield. And I think he really surprises Rasheem Mathis. I mean, he runs that route like a wide receiver. Of course, I mean, talking about the Lions tight ends, this is a guy that can go up and get the ball as well.
32-yard touchdown reception. And Mike Nugent adds the extra point. 9 plays, 80 yards in 4 minutes and 18 seconds. Cincinnati opening up a 21-10 lead here in Detroit. Rich, I'd say we're seeing precision on the part of the Bengals, not wasting much time with these touchdown drives, as opposed to Detroit. They've had the football for long periods of time, but Cincinnati with the 21-10 lead. Michael Spurlock again with the catch in the end zone. Detroit will start out on its 20-yard line. The Bengals in command.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Kelley Blue Book. Everything you need to make a smart new car decision is at kbb.com.
Marv Albert, Rich Gannon from Ford Field in Detroit. Lions take over, starting out at their 20-yard line. Reggie Bush flanking wide to the left side. Stafford against sidearms. It is incomplete, intended for Calvin Johnson. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10. Get inside the mind of a quarterback. Join Phil Simms, our very own Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, and Adam Shine on NFL Monday. QB tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
That's a quarterback we always seem to talk about, and whether or not Andy Dalton's a leader. Now, I don't really get into that. I just know he's been a very productive player for the Bengals the last 2 seasons.
Well, 3 more touchdowns and counting this afternoon. Durham makes the catch short of the first down, and a flag is thrown. Chris Durham has been a primary target once again for Matthew Stafford.
I think there's a trust factor between Durham and Stafford.
Chop block, number 21, offense. Half the distance to the goal, 2nd down.
And that is Reggie Bush called for the chop block.
I'm wondering if the defender was engaged with another player. And that's probably what happened. Just see, watch the middle of the screen. You're going to see Reggie Bush go in there. Now, when a player is rushing and he's being blocked by the offensive lineman there, you see Larry Warford. Reggie Bush can't go in there low and cut him. And that's why you got to take him up high.
It'll set back to a 2nd down and 20 from the 10-yard line. Stafford from the gun, facing pressure, and the ball is knocked down. That was intended for the tight end Pettigrew.
Well, 2nd and long situations, you always think screen or draw, and it's just what the Lions were trying to do there on the tight end screen, and Detroit did a really nice job, or Cincinnati did a really nice job defensively, Marv, sniffing that one out.
And you know, when you consider how long the Bengals defensive unit has spent on the field, and they are one of the better defenses in the NFL. They have done a terrific job here against the Lions.
They really have, and they've faced some good quarterbacks now this year. Up against Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady a couple weeks ago and had success. And
3rd and 20 here for Stafford, who unloads deep downfield, and it's caught by Ogletree, who then stepped out of bounds at midfield. That's a 43-yard pass play.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can make this throw. This is actually too deep coverage. You see the corner's going to drop him off. Watch him fit this one in between the corner and the safety. Reggie Nelson's not able to get over the top and help Terrence Newman quick enough. But there's not a lot of quarterbacks that could drop that one in the bucket like Matthew Stafford.
That brings up a first down at the Cincinnati 47-yard line. Reggie Bush returns to the backfield on the handoff. He is bottled up. Maybe a yard for Bush. Carlos Dunlap, Vontaze Burfict, who is having himself another huge day. That's his 12th tackle overall. He was involved on that stop.
Yeah, he leads the team with 76 tackles. He always seems to be around the action, and I think he's developed into a really fine player after having gone undrafted a season ago. Mike Zimmer saw something he liked in Vontaze Burfict.
And now Bush is flanked wide to the left. He's at the top of your screen for the second down and 9. Stafford. It is caught by Johnson. Stafford also took a hit and a flag down. Leaping catch by Calvin Johnson, who has been very much
Illegal
into it.
contact, 58 defense, penalty is declined, first down.
It is on the middle linebacker Ray Maualuga. 19-yard pass play to Johnson.
A really nice catch here by Calvin Johnson. He's going to get held, and then he has to react and make the big catch before he gets hit. And watch what happens to Stafford. I mean, he gets drilled in the pocket.
And it looks like Michael Johnson needing some help, shaken up on that last play. Lions first down at the Cincinnati 27-yard line as Stafford goes incomplete, intended for the tight end Brandon Pettigrew. Michael Johnson appears to be all right, although he was replaced by Wallace Gilberry.
Yeah, and talking to Jim Schwartz on Friday, this is what concerned him the most about this Cincinnati defense. And look at these quarterbacks that they faced. I mean, they've already faced a couple of future Hall of Famers, certainly in Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and who knows what Ben Roethlisberger, he'll probably get there someday as well. But they made him look pretty average. They held the Patriots to a couple field goals in that one. Very good pass defense in Cincinnati here with the Cincinnati Bengals.
There's Stafford on the run, able to get the pass off. Bush could not hold on, had it, and then dropped it. Good pressure by Pecco. That forced Stafford to get it away.
Well, you gotta get it on them. You know, you look at that Reggie Bush. It's again, the Bengals have a very coordinated pass rush. As you see, Domata Pecco deliver the blow.
Michael Johnson is back after shaken up a moment ago, replacing Gilberry. Talk about the Cincinnati defensive unit. They are 8th overall in the NFL. 3rd down and 10. This time Stafford with time. He throws. It is caught. Touchdown, Calvin Johnson. His 5th touchdown of the season.
Well, Drake Kirkpatrick can't believe what just happened. And I get the sense you watch Calvin Johnson, Marv, that he's feeling better. We're actually on the other side of the field, but you do a really nice job as you find a way to Calvin Johnson, just a really nice adjustment to the ball once it was in the air.
So tough to cover. 27-yard reception for the score. 5 catches, 86 yards for Calvin Johnson. Here's David Akers for the extra point.
Well, you see Calvin Johnson. Drake Kirkpatrick's actually in pretty good coverage there. It's a back shoulder throw. Calvin Johnson's able to get his head around and make the adjustment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Windows Phone. Meet the new Windows Phone, the smartphone reinvented around you. And by Land Rover, above and beyond.
Lions won 8 plays, 80 yards in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Sam Martin will kick it away. Brandon Tate, the deep man. And we have not been able to get a kick return thus far. Another look here.
Yeah, they run 4 verticals, and what they're trying to do is influence the safety, and he's going to be late, Marv, getting over the top. And the thing that I like about the Lions is they do a good job moving around Calvin Johnson. More than half of his catches have come from the slot. So when he's outside, it's a lot easier to double him. But when he moves inside, it's much more difficult to double a slot receiver.
He has great speed, has the size, he can leap, he can make acrobatic catches. He's doing it despite his sore knee. Bernard gets the call. Giovanni Bernard, rookie from North Carolina, stopped by Stephen Tulloch. We are set for an update. Here's JV, Bill Cowan.
Jets are slugging right back.
Well, the Jets defense coming off the interception return for a touchdown. Geno Smith gets out of the pocket, and he's just going to use those legs and take it in, and the Jets take a lead at the Meadowlands 24-21 late in the third.
Good game going on there. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon.
Oh, I know Rex wanted more support from the fans. Wanted more green in the crowd.
Yeah, he's getting it, looks like today.
Second down and 6 from the 24. Off the screen, Green broke a tackle, but a flag is down. Picked up 13. Let's see what this penalty involves. Scott Green out of Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
Interference, offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Well, it's on Green, so they'll bring it back. Scott Green happens to be a blue hen from Delaware.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
You and I got a chance to visit with him before the game as they were getting. I actually followed him to the officials' locker room. I was
You know
lost.
why? No, you thought.
I thought it was
he
the meal.
Yeah, he was headed to breakfast.
Well, you look at these numbers today. Andy Dalton playing better here in the second half with more opportunities.
Second out and 16, back at the 14. Bernard in the backfield. Dalton. Green on the catch, but not much. Darius Slay, the rookie out of Mississippi State, second-round draft pick, on the tackle.
This is a big run after the catch team. A good look at Darius Slay there. And you've got to be able to tackle these receivers when they get their hands on the ball. That's where a lot of the big plays show up.
Dalton looking at a 3rd and 7. Slay is in there at left corner for Chris Houston. 6:45 remaining in this third quarter.
Look how wide they are here. You're going to see some second short motion, but A.J. Green really out wide.
Dalton with the pass. Leaping catch is made at the sideline by Marvin Jones, who has had himself a game. Stopped by Slay, picked up 11.
Well, you're not lying, Marv, in terms of Marvin Jones having a really good day. And you're always looking for that complimentary receiver, opposite A.J. Green. At times it can be Mohamed Sanu. Today it's been Marvin Jones.
Too many Marvins.
There's a lot of Marvins.
Get that idea?
When you got a guy down in the trucks named Marvin.
Jones, 4 catches, 57 yards, including a touchdown. First down and 10. Giovanni Bernard kept in check to this point. Picked up just a yard. Well, you can see why millions of fans have followed Person of Interest to its new night and time. Don't miss a new episode Tuesday at 10, 9 Central. Only CBS. Ball at the 35 in Bengals territory. Second and 9. Just under 5.5 remaining in this third quarter, and Cincinnati with a 21-17 lead over Denver. Over Detroit, I should say. A little loft pass that Gresham makes the catch on. And he's able to get to the 35 in Detroit territory, a 30-yard pickup.
Well, this is the matchup they wanted. Gresham on the linebacker, Tulloch, and you can't double everybody. So if you spend your time with those safeties trying to double outside with A.J. Green and Marvin Jones, it allows a guy like Jermaine Gresham, who's a Pro Bowler as well, to be able to work up the middle of the field against a linebacker. Those are the matchups that Cincinnati has to keep taking advantage of.
So the Bengals first down at the Lion 35. Play fake, and Golden throws it away. Eifert in the area.
Well, it's not always going to be perfect, and sometimes the best play, the only play, is to throw it away. They don't, you're not always going to fool them. Just look at these numbers the last two games for Andy Dalton. Talk about consistency, production, good decision making. That's what Marvin Lewis is getting from his quarterback, Andy Dalton.
The numbers today, 16 of 24, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns, second down and 10. Dalton to the right side and over the head of A.J. Green, who was well covered.
Yeah, there's some confusion there. You see Andy Dalton, he's talking to A.J. Green. I think he wanted A.J. to stay outside. He winds up coming back inside. It always concerns you. You're going to watch A.J. He starts back up, and then actually he's not able to come out of the break. Slade does a good job grabbing a hold of A.J. Green.
3rd and 10 at the 35 of Detroit. Dalton facing the rush down to Bernard on the screen, and Bernard is submarine at the 30. Picked up 5, the free safety, Louis Delmas, making the tackle.
This was a big-time tackle by the safety. I thought this was going to be a jailbreak. You see Bernard, he just slips out. Now, if he can just be patient, maybe work back inside behind Clint Bowling, maybe he's able to make a big play. But really nice job by Delmas taking a good angle and finding a way to get Giovanni Bernard on the ground.
This will be a 47-yard attempt by Mike Nugent. Now make it 48. He missed earlier from 47. And the kick is good. Straight through for Nugent to add to the Bengals lead. They're up 24-17. Well, thus far in this third quarter, things have turned around. Cincinnati with nearly 9 minutes with the ball as opposed to Detroit just under 2.5.
Each possession is absolutely critical when you have two quarterbacks that are as hot as Stafford and Dalton right now.
Spurlock plays it on a hop, and for the first time there's a return of a kickoff as he breaks wide and then has to run it out of bounds. Nice return. Reggie Nelson ran him out. As you look at the Detroit Lions, your 3 big questions are?
Yeah, well, last year, Matthew Stafford threw the league high 727 times. Now with the addition of Reggie Bush, they're hoping to have more balance on offense. And the Lions know that they have Calvin Johnson, but with Nate Burleson out, they need other receivers to step up. And finally, my big question about this defense, which is currently ranked 26, can they ever become a top 10 unit? They need to start shouldering, I think, more of the load on defense.
I actually had 4 or 5 questions. Nate Burleson out, incidentally, with a broken arm as Reggie Bush goes for 7. Set for another update. Here's JB and Bill Kelly.
Hey, Marv, take a look at this outstanding deke move.
With Jake Cutler out of the game, they got to turn to a playmaker, and that's going to be Matt Forte. Watch him go through here, a little jump cut. Unbelievable. 50 yards. 24-24, Chicago ties up the Redskins.
Looked like Boomer Esiason on ice. Back to Marv and Rich.
And Boomer does play some hockey, I'm told, every week or so, as Reggie Bush picks up a yard on the play.
That's the one thing as you watch the Lions offense is that they've got to be able to eliminate some of the negative runs. It was a Problem last year with Reggie Bush in Miami, and if it's not there, you got to be able to smack it up in there, and find some positive yardage. Too often this guy looks for the home run and negative runs show up.
Lions now looking at a 3rd down and 2 from their 36-yard line. 2:20 to go here in the 3rd. Bengals up by 7. Stafford. And it is through the hands of Bush.
Well, Ray Maluga got away with one. He missed it. Reggie Bush got grabbed as he came out of the break. And that's why he's complaining, and that's why Stafford went right over to the official. Just watch Reggie Bush as he comes out of the backfield. He's going to be matched up with Vontaze Burfict, and right there he hooks him. And the official doesn't see it. But clearly Stafford thought it was a flag. Every once in a while the officials miss one.
So the punting unit is on. Sam Martin averaging just under 49 yards. The punt got away a 66-yarder earlier. Brandon Tate just lets it bounce out of bounds. This one is a 47-yarder. We saw the big questions for Detroit. How about Cincinnati?
Well, I always get to ask this question a lot, and I'm not sure Dalton maybe he's going to be elite, but it doesn't mean he can't be a Super Bowl winner. This is a quarterback that's been very productive, and I do believe right now the Bengals have the best front four in the NFL. They're simply not a weak link in that group. And finally, I think the Bengals are getting close with their secondary, especially when you watch how they played against Rodgers and Brady earlier this season.
1st and 10 from the 19-yard line for Andy Dalton and his Bengals. Green Ellis trying to make a move to his left, perhaps a yard. And Jarvis Green Ellis last season ran for a career high 1,094 yards and usually excels as the short yardage back.
Yeah, a much different role last season, Marv, where he had over 90% of the carries. He's not flashy, just reliable, very physical runner who doesn't put the ball on the ground. The problem is he's averaging just 3.3 a carry.
2nd and 9. Once again, the crowd coming to life with Cincinnati deep in their own territory. Pass caught by Eifert. And just 2 on that reception.
Well, the one area where I think the Lions are a lot better defensively is at their linebacker position. It was a real problem a year ago. They just didn't get a lot of plays out of this group. But you look at Stephen Tulloch, he's healthy. DeAndre Levy, Marv, you talked about the type of season that he's had. He's got 4 interceptions, had 2 last week. Of course, Ashley Palmer is a young guy that I really like. I think he's got a bright future in this league as well.
3rd down and 7. This crowd is loud. Not quite Kansas City, but they have been vocal. Dalton has to run, slides for the 1st down. Andy Dalton sliding right at the marker, picked up 7.
Well, you don't expect this from Andy Dalton, but he's certainly capable. And talk about some headhunting. Andy Dalton's smart to get down. He knew it was coming. Anytime these defensive guys see these quarterbacks run, Louis Delmas was waiting to get a shot at Andy Dalton.
And the Bengals will let it run out. That'll be the end of the 3rd quarter with Cincinnati in front of Detroit by the count of 24-17. And here in the Motor City, what else? Little Motown sound as we head to break. Apparently a challenge during our commercial break. And what is being challenged once again is the spot.
And what you're going to try and find is where Andy Dalton actually gives himself up, and he's touched down by Louis Delmas.
So head coach Jim Schwartz thought about it. Apparently somebody upstairs took a look.
He's going to be right around the 29-yard line.
That is what they're checking out. Jim Schwartz in his 5th season, head coach of the Lions, taking over a team that had gone 0-16 back in 2008. Received a contract extension before last season. Is on the hot seat. Last year a disappointing 4-12, but right now the Lions very much in the race with that record at 4-2. Here's Dalton. The knee is down. That's where the spot should be. As he continued to glide forward.
So actually this is a little bit shorter than a 29-yard line. Good look at Jim Schwartz, who actually worked with Marvin Lewis together in Baltimore. Jim was the defensive assistant to then defensive coordinator Marvin Lewis. And Marvin recommended him to Jeff Fisher, who was down in Tennessee.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback went into his slide. He was short of the line to gain. It will be 4th and 1 at the 28-yard line.
Well,
Detroit is not charged with a timeout.
That is a major turn from a first down to a 4th and 1.
That's a great challenge. It's going to force Cincinnati to punt the ball in this situation. You talk about communication, how important it is, for everybody, not just the quarterback and the center and receivers, but the decision that came down from the booth, from Jim Schwartz's assistants to tell him to challenge that spot.
Second punt of the game for Kevin Huber. Michael Spurlock back at his 25 for Detroit. Spurlock calling for the fair catch. Right about the 22-yard line, so it's a 51-yard punt. Hey, this week, don't miss the show that's an elite by itself with guys who take on all 32 teams and each other every week. James Brown, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, along with the artistry of NFL films. Catch Inside the NFL Wednesday at 9, only on Showtime.
Well, you look at this number, 64 pass attempts, not a single sack, and these are two very good defenses that have the ability to get around the quarterback. The offensive lines have played well. Both quarterbacks are getting the ball out of their hands quickly.
Stafford able to complete. Ryan Rolls with the reception across the 30, stopped by Maualuga. Picked up 9 on the play. The Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, tied for the lead in the NFC North. Washington in front of Chicago by the score of 31-24. Green Bay at 3-2, and they're home for Cleveland in a late game. Calvin Johnson. Terrence Newman is right there, just a short pickup.
Well, Stafford really had no choice there. They were trying to run a run to the left, and the blitz comes right off the edge. You can see it in your picture late, and so he just aborts the run action and just kicks this thing out wide to Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson really has no chance. Terrence Newman right there to make the play. He's not even really expecting it in that situation.
Sets up a 3rd down and 1 as once again Bush flanks wide to the right. Empty backfield for Stafford. And he throws for the first down. He has Bush inside the 45. Newman making the stop for Cincinnati, a 27-yard pass play.
And the Lions do a good job jumping the ball. This is why you always have to be aware of where Reggie Bush lines up. I mean, it's as if no one went out to cover him or account for him in the slot. You see the frustration right there by Terrence Newman. Communication breakdown on the back end.
Now Joint Bell in the backfield. He's the lone setback. Stafford under center. Hand off to Bell. Tripped up by Crocker. 2 yards for Bell. Chris Crocker, who has made his return to Cincinnati, coming out of retirement.
They don't account for the Chris Crocker off the edge, and Matthew Stafford has to be aware of this. I mean, he's turning these three defenders loose on the back in the hole, and they have nowhere to go.
Now Calvin Johnson flanks wide. to the right. Bell remains in the backfield. Second down and 8. Stafford in trouble. Sidearms. Just looking to throw it away.
Well, that may be an intentional grounding. There's no one even out there. And now they're going to come in and talk about it. I don't think there was a receiver in the area. Stafford was just trying to avoid the sack.
Also looks like Corey Hilliard is playing for the injured. Jason Fox is hurt.
Intentional grounding. Quarterback. Also loss of down. Third down.
Ow. When you look at Stafford, he gets fooled and he knows he's got to get rid of it. He can't take a sack in that situation. He's got free rusher and Geno Atkins, and you see out to the right, there's just no receiver in the vicinity.
Rich, earlier we talked about the injuries hitting the Cincinnati secondary. Well, that Detroit offensive line getting hit earlier. Riley Reef went out. Adrian Waddle has come on, and now Hilliard is hurt, replaced by Dylan Gandy. It's been a busy day for the medical staffs of both the Lions and the Bengals. They're checking out Corey Hilliard. Went back to the bench. Meanwhile, Riley Reef, who went out earlier at left tackle because of a hamstring, returns, and Adrian Waddle moves over to right tackle for Hilliard. There's Stafford, who took a hit, firing for the end zone. Touchdown, Calvin Johnson. That looked like a Hail Mary at the end of the game. A jump ball, and the 6'5" Calvin Johnson made the catch.
Well, if you're Matthew Stafford, you just have to give him a chance. And I think oftentimes you talk about covering a guy like Calvin Johnson. Oftentimes, corners panic when they have their back to the quarterback and the ball is in the air. You have to be able to get your head around, locate, and track the ball, and then try and make a play on it. You may not be able to out-jump Calvin Johnson, but you have to be able to knock it out and separate him from the ball with a big hit. That's just great concentration by Calvin Johnson.
50-yard reception, his second touchdown of the day as Stafford took a strong hit from behind from Michael Johnson. And now the Lions can tie it. They do. Akers putting it through 6 plays, 78 yards in just under 3 minutes. We've got a good one going here in Detroit, tied at 24.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura. Meet the extremely new 2014 MDX at Acura.com/MDX. Fidelity Investments. Take control of your personal economy. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Marv Albert, Rich Gannon from Ford Field in Detroit. Bengals and Lions now tied at 24. This time by the gunman Cedric Pearman. A rare return here this afternoon. He goes for 21 yards. Rich, did you expect as much today from Calvin Johnson?
This is incredible, Marv. This is literally cover 3. You've got 3 defensive players around Calvin Johnson. Stafford gives him a chance, and look at that vertical leaping ability. I mean, he just goes up and rips it down in between 3 defensive players. That is just an incredible effort by Calvin Johnson.
7 catches, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. His 35th career 100-yard game, which is a franchise record, breaking the record that is held by Herman Moore. Nice moves by Bernard. Giovanni Bernard goes for 6.
Well, you just look at Calvin Johnson, and what he does best is use his body and create separation and then go up and get the ball at its highest point. I really believe, Marv, he's the best in the business at that. He has straight line speed, he's got great strength, and when he goes up and gets it, he has those big, strong hands that can rip it out of the air.
Second down and 4. Dalton faked the handoff and now throws deep down the right side, and a flag is down. A.J. Green interfered with by the left corner, Chris Houston.
Marv, we've seen a couple times today where Andy Dalton has underthrown A.J. Green. A better throw there, and A.J. may score.
And they may have called it the other way. Interference on Green.
Offense, number 18.
Yes.
10-yard penalty. Second down.
I think one of the reasons is he has to come back for it. Watch, he clearly beats Chris Houston. Now go ahead and throw it. Now watch, when it's underthrown, he has to come back and use that left hand to try and create some separation. Andy Dalton has to do a better job throwing the deep ball. It's been a problem for him the last 2.5 seasons. Something that they've really tried to work on in Cincinnati. You cannot underthrow these receivers when they have them beat.
Sets it back to a second down and 13 from Cincinnati's 22. The game is tied at 24. 4 minutes gone by in the fourth. Dalton over the middle. But only a short pickup for Bernard, who's met by Levy.
Marv, I'm not jealous, but I tell you, you look at these two quarterbacks, and they're spoiled. I mean, you know, look at these receivers. A.J. Green with 6 catches, 155 yards. Calvin Johnson, 7 for 136. These guys are just going at it, having fun. And remember, as you pointed out, they work out together in the offseason. They have the same trainer down there in Atlanta.
Third and 7. Dalton fires deep and was broken up, intended for Green. He was double covered. Glover Quinn, the strong safety, and Chris Houston involved, and it was Quinn who got a piece of it.
Well, what a terrific route. He's going to run an out-breaking route, and he beats the near safety. And again, it's underthrown by Andy Dalton. And you got to be able to use the entire field. That is a mistake by Dalton.
Third punt for Human. Good hang time. Spurlock let it go, took a tricky hop. Detroit gets it back after a 46-yard punt, and here comes Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson. Matthew Stafford and the Lions back to the offense. What is the philosophy here now of Stafford, who has been aggressive to this point?
Marv, I don't think it's time to pump the brakes. I think you want to continue to be aggressive. Stafford's playing well. He's taking care of the ball. He's not made any really poor decisions. I think you keep the pedal to the metal.
Detroit from the 28, and nice catch again by Johnson. Calvin Johnson has been spectacular today.
I think you keep the pedal to the metal, and I think you keep trying to isolate number 81, Calvin Johnson. He is on fire right now, and every once in a while you get these receivers that just get into a groove, and nobody can cover him. You can double him, you can press him, you can play a lot of different techniques. He's just feeling it right now, and they have to keep finding a way to get 81 the football.
8th catch for Johnson. First down, Detroit. Push in the backfield, takes the handoff. Started out with a stutter step, but nothing. Pecco and Johnson able to make the stop.
You know, it's amazing how different Calvin Johnson looks to me. We went back and watched the last 4 or 5 games on film, and you could, even last week, he just used, I think, 35 or 38 offensive snaps. But now you could just tell he practiced Wednesday, he practiced Thursday. We saw him out there on Friday. He looked good. You can tell he feels good. And that's been a big difference today for the Lions.
He was affected by the sore right knee. Last week, more of a decoy. Made 3 catches, had a couple of drops. Today, a different story. This time it is Durham, who has also had himself a very solid day. Adam Jones on the tackle.
Well, I talked in the open about how quickly Stafford gets the ball out. They bring a blitz. They've got a free rusher, and he whips it out as quickly as he can. Maybe doesn't even have the laces, but he puts this one on Chris Durham. The one thing as you watch Stafford is he can spin the football. He has got tremendous arm strength. There's not a throw on the field he can't make.
Durham picked up 6. Looked like Aluga took a hit. His thigh. And he is hobbling off. back to Chris Durham, wideout out of Georgia, 5 catches, 41 yards. You've been talking the last couple of days about Stafford and how quickly he can get rid of the football.
Yeah, he's quick in the pocket. But look how quickly the ball, from the time it's snapped to the time it comes out, 2.86 seconds. The only one faster so far in the NFL through the first 6 weeks has been Peyton Manning, and I think it's by design. You know, they're trying to take the hits and the sacks off of Stafford. They do a good job spreading you out. It's a good job getting the ball out quickly, and it's a big reason why he hasn't been sacked.
Stafford has a 3rd down and 2. The ball at the Detroit 47-yard line. And a whistle as they line up. Looks like a timeout has been called by Cincinnati, their first timeout of this second half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Aflac. When you're sick or hurt, Aflac pays you cash. Find out more at aflac.com. And by Subway Restaurants. Try the Tuscan Chicken Melt $6 footlong special today.
Back to Detroit. Matthew Stafford now 25 of 43, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns. First time the Bengals have allowed a 300-yard passer in the last 21 games. Stafford now looking at a 3rd down and 2. Stafford off the roll. It is caught at the far side, and he's in bounds. Joyce Bell with the catch for 18. And penalty marker is down.
Defensive holding here. I think after Stafford started scrambling, the defender covering Joyce Bell might have grabbed him.
Joyce Bell also playing hurt with bruised ribs. There was talk he'd be playing with a flak jacket.
There are 2 fouls that will offset. Holding, defense, number 23. Interference, offense, number 81. The fouls will offset. We'll replay 3rd down.
So it's on Terrence Newman of the Bengals and Calvin Johnson of the Lions.
Well, watch Calvin Johnson. He may come in and pick, and I don't see all that. I think anytime the officials see a receiver extend his hands, all he's trying to do is protect himself. And you can see the frustration from Jim Schwartz. I thought it was a bad call by the official.
Sets it back with 3rd and 2 at the Detroit 47. Just under 8 minutes to play in the 4th. And the game is tied at 24. Bell remains in the backfield. Fake to Bell. Stafford whoops one for the first down. He has Johnson again. An 8-yard pickup.
Look, play action has been very good for the Lions, and you just see how strong he is and how he does a nice job at the top, just extending his hands a little bit to create separation between himself and Terrence Newman.
9 catches, 155 yards, including 2 touchdowns for the 3-time Pro Bowl wideout Calvin Johnson. First down at the Cincinnati 45. This is Bush off the hesitation, looks to cut back, and he is swallowed up. Hit first by Chris Crocker, lost the yard.
Well, what a day Calvin Johnson has had. You know, you see him run the in route. You could get a sense early that he was feeling pretty good. Great job on the back shoulder catch, and this one to me was just ridiculous between 3 defenders. And you could just tell Matthew Stafford knows that Calvin Johnson is rolling, and he's doing everything he can to get the ball in his direction.
You know, Rich, when you look back at this one, depending on who comes out victorious, 2 huge plays. That blocked field goal of Cincinnati's Mike Nugent.
Straight back down.
All right, here's Stafford back to throw. He fires, and it's broken up. Intended for Pettigrew. Taylor Mays on the coverage.
Well, he got a little greedy there. I mean, this is really tight coverage. You're going to see Pettigrew. He's just going to run the corner route. and he's getting doubled. Taylor Mays is in the trail technique. He's got help from the safety over the top, and it's almost impossible to fit that one into Brandon Pettigrew.
Should say the missed field goal by Nugent, the blocked field goal that Akers attempted. There was also that unsportsmanlike conduct by the tight end Jermaine Gresham, which really hurt the Bengals earlier. Bengals at the time were on the drive. Here is Stafford. Took that long look, being chased. Throws on the line, and it is caught, but a flag down. Caught by Bell, who had to come back for it. If it holds up, it's an 18-yard advance. Marvin Lewis saying no.
Interference. Offense number 87 blocking downfield.
Marvin is correct. It is on the tight end for the Lions, Pettigrew.
I think what happens is Pettigrew sees Stafford running around. He thinks he's going to scramble. Well, clearly he's blocking. I mean, there's got to be some confusion there. Pettigrew, everyone else is running the route. Watch Stafford does a nice job, on the scramble, keeping his eyes downfield and making a really nice throw to Joyke Bell. But for some reason, Brandon Pettigrew wasn't on the same page.
Also heavy pressure from Carlos Dunlap. He's the guy who blocked that field goal earlier. Dunlap, 4-year man out of Florida. He's 6'6". And I believe the challenge flag has been tossed.
Cincinnati is challenging, ruling on the field that it was a completed pass.
So the challenge from Marvin Lewis. We'll check it out when we come back. You're watching the NFL on CBS. That's a tough one.
Why would he challenge that?
All right, they're checking that catch by Joyke Bell, and when you look at it, you'll see it's a tough one to tell in terms of whether he was able to maintain possession.
Yeah, it looks like here he's trying to get possession of it, but then what happens is that when he spins back over, it looks like the ball clearly touches the ground first. You get a good look at it from the backside. It's a low throw. Joyke Bell's just trying to get possession of it. See it bounce around. It clearly hits the turf.
Yep. Right. You could see from that angle that it made contact with the ground.
Hey, both of these head coaches have done a nice job with the challenges today. Tells you that those assistants up in the booth are working hard and paying attention.
After reviewing the play, the pass was incomplete. It will be 4th down. Cincinnati is also declining the foul of offensive pass interference, so it will now be 4th down and 11 on the 46-yard line. Please.
I would hope those coaches are paying attention, Rich.
Well, sometimes it happens so fast. These offenses do a good job jumping the ball, and you don't always get a good shot of it from a couple different angles, and you got to make some quick decisions.
Isn't there one particular coach who is usually
assigned?
Yep,
and he has the ability to get that information quickly down to the head coach on the sidelines.
Punting unit is on. Sam Martin will kick it from just behind his 40-yard line. Brandon Tate back deep. Out of the fair catch at the 11. Well, coming next, Arian Foster and the Texans take out Alex Smith and the unbeaten Chiefs, or Joe Flacco and his Ravens face Big Ben and the Steelers, while the Browns battle the pack. Check local listings. I know, Rich, you were one of the first to invest in Arian Foster.
I bought a couple shares, Marv. I have to be honest. You look at Cincinnati here, and they've put together very capable of going 80 or 90 yards. They've already had 5 drives this season of 90 yards or more, which is the most in football. You always like to start a drive with a completion or a positive run here. You're backed up. Got to make some good decisions in this part of the field.
Game tied at 24. Green Ellis able to shake loose. His longest run of the day, stopped by Darius Slay, goes for the first down, an 11-yard gain.
Well, really a nice job. They're just going to run the power play here. You see the backside guard pull, and And Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis gets skinny in the hole. A really nice run by him getting up on the second level.
Anthony Collins, backup tackle, is ruled eligible as he checks in. Six-year man out of Kansas. He goes 6'5". First down at the 22-yard line. Green Ellis remaining as the runner, and too much time.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. First down.
False start. Kevin Zeitler, the right guard. Well, both teams, as discussing before, had an opportunity for another score.
Yeah, Nugent misses from 47 yards, and of course Akers lines up to what we thought was going to be a chip shot. Carlos Dunlap's able to get in there and get that right hand on it. That was a big play in the game for Cincinnati.
First and 15 back at the 17. Dalton gets it off. The catch is made. A rolling follow through across the 40 by the tight end Gresham.
Well, both these teams have done a nice job throwing the ball to the tight end up the seam. And you see they've got two tight ends over there. One's going to get a wide release, and Gresham, he's just going to work right down the middle of the field on the linebacker. And again, another nice throw by Dalton. And a terrific catch. Wow, what great concentration by Jermaine Gresham.
Rich, that is a huge play for 23 yards and a first down at the 39-yard line. Here's Green Ellis. He ripped off that 11-yard gain a moment ago. Picked up 3 here. Second and 7 at the 42. We're coming up on 4 minutes to play in the fourth. A look at Mike Nugent.
Well, if I'm Andy Dalton, I'm not thinking at all about Mike Nugent. We're inside 4 minutes now. We just want to continue to eat up this clock, continue to make first downs and drive down there and get a touchdown and end this thing on the road here in Detroit.
Nugent hit from 48, missed from 47. Here's Dalton completing at midfield. Tyler Eifert caught a touchdown, his first NFL TD earlier today, 11 yards on that play. And this is a good-looking drive here by the Bengals.
Yeah, both these teams really have some athletic and good-looking tight ends, and they just do a good job, displacing them, moving them around, and really creating some matchup problems for defenses. Linebackers and safeties who have really struggled trying to match up against the tight ends in this game.
First down for Cincinnati at the Detroit 47. Green Ellis thought he could break the tackle, but could not. Lost 4. Devin Taylor making the stop.
Well, this play had no chance from the start. You just look at the amount of blue shirts around the line of scrimmage. I mean, as soon as Ben Jarvis gets the ball, he's getting hit in the backfield. That play was doomed from the get-go. That would have been a good one for Andy Dalton to audible out of.
It was Andre Fluellen with the first hit, and then Taylor with the wrap-up. Second and 14. Dalton's pass is caught short of the first down, and then the fumble. But the ball, apparently he was down. It was whistled dead. Gresham, 13-yard catch.
Well, we talk about routes that look the same that are different. You see, we've been running that seam route, and now all of a sudden off the seam route, which is the same stem and the same vertical release, what does Gresham do? He puts his foot in the ground and stops and runs the hook.
Just short of the first down. It's a third and about a yard with 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. Cincinnati and Detroit tied at 24. Huge play coming up with 2 minutes remaining. Third down and 1. Mike Nugent has hit a career on the 55. This would be from 54. Green Ellis in the backfield. And penalty flags come flying.
Well, what a big mistake there.
False start. Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty.
Well, the mental errors today for Jermaine Gresham have been devastating. And you just see he's going to jump off sides. No reason for it, really. That was a critical situation in the game. We just talked about it during the break, Marvin. A third down situation. If they were able to convert there, they would have forced Detroit to start using those 3 timeouts.
Sets it back to a 3rd down and 6. Dalton, and finally body. Down he goes. First sack of the day for either team.
Well, you can't take a sack here. I mean, you think of field goal, and again, Ndamukong Suh. Look at that strength. Just with one arm, he's able to beat Andre Smith around the edge. Extremely consistent, very durable. He's made an impact in every single game this season for the Lions.
So Cincinnati has to give the ball back. Lions take a timeout. They have 2 left, as do the Bengals. We're down to 1 minute and 52 to go.
Yeah, you can look at Jermaine Gresham there. I mean, a couple big mistakes today from the veteran tight end. I mean, you've got to be able to hold your water in that situation.
The unsportsmanlike conduct penalty earlier in the midst of a Bengal drive, that was critical, and now the offside and a 3rd and 1.
And now you give Matthew Stafford and the Lions the ball back with 1:52 and a couple timeouts.
Punt from Huber. Spurlock let it go. Takes a good hop for Cincinnati, and that is down. Goes as a 46-yard punt. Clark Harris was able to make the play for Cincinnati. Well, coming up, time permitting, after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Aflac. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. A lot of terrific action around the NFL this afternoon in the early game.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. We've had a lot of great games. We got another one here tied up. Each team with 2 timeouts, and Detroit looking for a little breathing room coming out of their own end zone.
Well, they start from their 6. Bush, the running back. The handoff to Bush. Looking for the hole and does the job. Gets out to the 10 where he's met by Burfict. Picked up 4. And a timeout is called by Marvin Lewis. So Cincinnati takes another timeout.
Well, they've got them backed up, and they're hoping to go 3 and out here and get the ball back and give their offense one more chance before the end of regulation.
Bengals down to 1 timeout remaining. Lions have 2. The clock showing 1:34 to play. Detroit has come from behind. Cincinnati got off to the quick lead, 55 seconds. And they're on the board with the Dalton to A.J. Green, an 82-yard touchdown pass play.
And it's absolutely critical, Marv, in this situation. Detroit get themselves a 1st down.
2nd down and 6 from the 10. Bella's the running back. As Stafford looks, he fires over the middle. Let's see where they're spotted. Looks to be a 1st down. Ryan Broyles on the reception. It is a 1st down for Detroit.
Now they can open things up. Now they've got themselves some breathing room, and now you've got to be conscious of this guy right here.
Lions have the 2 timeouts left. Stafford. Bell refusing to go down. Up 6. Got by Mays. Looking to hurry, under a minute to play.
They got Reggie Bush back on the field. They got Joique Bell out.
2nd down and 5. Stafford on the run. Just flings it. And the question is, anybody in the area?
Well, I think Adam Jones ran into Calvin Johnson, and they knocked each other off the ball.
Pressure from Dunlap and Gilberry.
Watch right there. Oh, they just tripped. That's not a penalty. That was instant contact.
Looking at a 3rd down and 4 at the 23. Lions also do not want to do anything careless to give the ball back to Cincinnati. In an interception possibility at a pick six. Here's Stafford again, chase and hit. Did get it away though. Reggie Nelson on a blitz.
Well, I don't know if there was a receiver in that area either, although he might have been outside the pocket, but clearly you're going to see the pressure off the edge, and they've done this a lot to Matthew Stafford's backside. Really terrific effort by Reggie Nelson, getting his arms around Matthew Stafford.
4 yards to go. Sam Martin, 8 punts.
So the
Brandon Tate.
punting unit will come on with 35 seconds to play.
Ooh, not a good punt.
Sam Martin has been very good today, but not this time. And ball carried out of bounds with 26 seconds remaining
My goodness.
in regulation.
This ball is almost at midfield, and Cincinnati's got plenty of time with 26 seconds left in a timeout. I mean, one big completion here to A.J. Green, they could be in field goal range.
27-yard punt by the rookie Martin, who has been so efficient. So Mike Nugent waiting in the wings. Won it last week after he missed an attempt. His career-long 55 yards. From midfield, a first down for the Bengals. Goal completes.
Timeout.
Short pickup.
Oh, they're gonna try and waste some time here. Sometimes you're better off taking the timeout in that situation. You have other ways of stopping the clock.
Sanzabunker made that catch. Here's Dalton again over the middle, has a first down and some more. Bernard with the catch, and now they take the timeout. With just 4 seconds remaining. Timeout, final timeout taken by Cincinnati. And here comes Nugent, who today missed from 47, hit from 48. And a look at last week. Mike Nugent drilling the 43-yarder with 6:44 left in overtime. Can he do it again? This from 54, his career-long 55 against Oakland in November of last season. This is for the win.
Detroit's going to call a timeout.
Well, Jim Schwartz looking to get into the head of Mike Nugent. Sometimes this works, sometimes it does not.
Well, I think oftentimes it doesn't. I mean, you give them a little extra time to think about it. I mentioned this statistic to you going back to 2000, and the final 2 minutes are overtime. With no timeout, these kickers typically make it in 77% of the situations. After the timeout, the number actually goes up by a couple percentage points.
So Nugent is back. The punter Kevin Huber is the hold to the long snapper Clark Harris. Here we go. It is good. The Bengals with another dramatic victory, and they do it on the road once again. 54-yard field goal by Mike Nugent.
Well, that was really set up by the poor punt by Sam Martin, the rookie from Detroit. Of course, good snap, good hold, and right down the middle for Mike Nugent.
Matthew Stafford, 28 of 50, 357 yards, 3 touchdowns. Andy Dalton, 24 of 34, 372 for 3 touchdowns. Despite the loss, a wonderful day for Calvin Johnson, 9 catches, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Marvin Lewis and his Bengals go to 5-2. Detroit at 4-3. Cincinnati has won 5 of its last 6 2 straight on the road. And they're back home for the Jets next Sunday. Coming up next, Houston at Kansas City, Baltimore at Pittsburgh, or Cleveland at Green Bay. So for Rich Gannon, this is Marv Albert saying so long from the Motor City. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Now to James Brown in New York for the NFL Today update.